The weight of the anchors. Most people think giving up is a loud explosion. It's not. Giving up is usually a quiet, heavy fog. It's that Tuesday morning when you look in the mirror and realize you've stopped believing the things you used to tell yourself. We've all been there. You're standing at the bottom of a mountain you thought you'd have climbed by now. You're tired. Not I need a nap tired, but soul tired. The long walk. Let me tell you about a runner named Elias. Elias didn't run for trophies. He ran to prove he existed. For 3 years, he trained for a single 100-mile ultramarathon. He sacrificed sleep, missed birthdays, and wore through 4 pairs of shoes until the soles were as thin as paper. At mile 72, the sky didn't just rain, it collapsed. The trail turned into a river of mud. Elias slipped, his knee hitting a rock with a sound like a dry branch snapping. He sat there in the mud. He looked at his watch. He looked at his bleeding knee. And for the first time in 3 years, he said the most dangerous words in the human language. What's the point? He waited for a sign, a lightning bolt, a voice from the heavens. Nothing happened. The woods stayed dark. The pain stayed sharp. The middle, the anatomy of the dark. That's the moment we're all afraid of, the moment where the why disappears. Maybe for you, it isn't a mountain. Maybe it's a business that's bleeding money. Maybe it's a relationship you've tried to fix 1,000 times. Maybe it's a degree that feels like a prison sentence. When you're in that mud, never give up sounds like a Hallmark card written by someone who's never bled. It feels fake. But here is the truth. The finish line doesn't move just because you've stopped walking. Victory isn't a gift for the fast. It's a tax paid by the stubborn. The choice. Elias didn't get a second wind. He didn't have a cinematic epiphany. He just looked at his hand covered in grit and realized he had 2 choices. He could quit and the pain in his knee would eventually fade, but the weight of what if would sit on his chest for the rest of his life. He could stand up and the pain would stay, but he would own the ground he walked on. He stood up. It took him 4 minutes just to find his balance. He didn't run. He didn't even jog. He limped. Mile 80. He was the slowest person on the course. Mile 90, his vision was blurring, but his rhythm was steady. Thump, drag, thump, drag. Mile 98, the sun began to peek through the trees. The sunrise. At mile 100, there were no crowds left. The lights had been packed away. The official timer had stopped. But as Elias crossed that invisible line, the sun hit the valley, and he realized something that changed him forever. The version of himself that started the race was gone. The version that finished it was unbreakable. He didn't win the race against the other runners. He won the war against the version of himself that wanted to stay in the mud. Your call to action. If you are listening to this and you feel like you're at mile 72, if you're sitting in the mud, looking at your wounds, I'm here to tell you the struggle is not evidence that you're failing, period. It's the price of admission for a life worth living. You are being forged, not broken. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. If you can't crawl, reach. The world is full of people who stopped. Be the person who kept limping until the sun came up. Because I promise you, the view from the top is only beautiful because of how hard it was to get there. Do not quit. Not today. Not ever.